Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Good day and welcome back to my channel. So, the next update, as you can see, I've gotten some work done on the weathering and getting closer. But I did want to take a moment and just sort of stop before I got too far into this and sort of called out where I am and kind of what I'm going with this. So let's go ahead and start with the base, right? So in my last video, I had just the base shown up. Decal sheet, so basically that was what my base was, and this is what I have now. Honestly, there's really no real magic to this. This is just basing effort. So PVA glue. The rocks are actually just resin. They are resin cast from like this. So the resin cast from train terrain molds. I have about 3 or 4 just sheets of random rock casting molds that I use for exactly this purpose. Typically I'm doing 28 mil base, so I'm using things about this size, and I use them for either 28 mil bases or for 28 mil terrain, which kind of like what you're seeing here. And pretty much all this is exactly that. It's just a small piece of terrain scatter, or a area terrain. And really all this is, right, is PVA. So we have these rocks in here painted dark, given a shade, and then hit back with just dry brush, different colors of gray dry brush back up. You have your typical rock scatter, right? So that's the stuff, right? Which are the ones around the bases here, and then for the main base, so for a lot of the surface terrain, it's this stuff, this ash gray battlefield. Yes, I have this battlefield in the box stuff. I don't recommend this for people who do a lot of terrain, only because they're expensive. This is really nice. These things are really nice. These battlefield in the box stuff are really nice for 28 mil if you're doing 28 millimeter figures, right? But if you're going to be doing large areas, pieces of terrain, just go ahead and go to your local model train store, and they've got pretty much the same stuff in like these giant bins for like half the price of that. So these are great for, like I said, for war gamers who are doing 5 or 6 little bases. Great. Doing terrain like this, not so much, but I've had these things sitting around for years, literally, so it's no big deal. So that was what I, all these this surface terrain you see here. Then it was just a matter of giving it a wash and then dry brushing it back up and just hit a couple spots with pigment just to give it that muddy, dirty look. So, and then a couple pieces of static grass here and there to do their thing. So there's my base. Then just to figure it out, the feet are going to end up going right about here. So like I got the hip joint that goes there, so the feet are going to go right about there. Again, this is a very static position, so the BattleMech is just sort of sitting here, nothing active, just sitting there. And I am hoping I have a 28 mil figure for a pilot that I can use. I need to see if it'll actually work, but that's what I have on the way. So that'll kind of give this thing sort of a static or a passive sort of look. So the feet, I've kind of gone all out with dusting it up and dirtying it up. I've done some oil streaks, done some chipping, a little bit and the more I look at that, I almost kind of want to go back and do more, just because of, to get the age in. But I kind of like the way that the dust is working with this. I want this to have a dusty look, so it's got a lot of dust and wear that have kicked up on the feet. And that's kind of the way I want it to go. And as we go up higher, the dust is going to settle lower and lower, and it'll be less and less the higher up the higher up the mech we go. As we get to the top, it'll be just sort of a fade of the color, more than dust and dirt collecting on any surfaces. Do have oil leaks and so forth around there, scratches, dents, dings, things like that, to give the mech some life. I'm going for the same kind of look you would get for a very overused armor, so tank, right? So the idea is to pretty much go that route. As I look, there's still more weathering to do that will give it the look I want. I've already done a couple layers of oils, but as I look, the shading and the shadows that are in these areas aren't quite where I want them to be yet. I do have, these are dinged up and faded about the way I was looking for, but I do kind of want to accentuate some of these panel lines just a little bit more than I have. And that's where we'll be going, but we're pretty close to where I'm going with the feet. The hip also is pretty close. I want to do a little more work around here. I'm going to be coming in with a little more of the oil paints to fade this a little bit more. These are scratched up. I'm probably going to come through and do a high level dry brush of bare metal, just to kind of give it that look of wear in there, because right now it's just sort of isolated to a few points. But I'm kind of think I want to go ahead and hit it again, either just dry brush it with metallic, or hit it with graphite and give it that look, that same kind of look that it would have or that a tank track would have. So then moving on to this, right? Let's move on to where we are for our missile pods and our cockpit. So the cockpit still is just getting started, right? We're just now getting the basic weathering into that. I did go, one panel replaced. Got some chips here, and we're going to have some scratches here where the missile pods go. So some dust collecting in these little areas. So we're getting there. But this is going to be one of those where I need to go just sort of panel by panel and just keep kind of going, doing a whole bunch of filtering and getting some wear and age put onto this. Darken up the paint, give some fading. Then I also need to get the dust effects where it just sort of fades everything out from the top down. Once I've done that, then I can go back and repaint the windows here and get those done. I am thinking I need to do something with these yet. I'm not entirely certain. I believe these are medium lasers, and if that's the case, then I want to put lenses in them. So probably I'll probably put a back coat of a bright orange or something that's not red, because that'll show there, but a bright orange color, and then hit it with crystal clear to give a lens. Then I can go back and highlight that up. But I'm kind of content where this is going, but it's definitely a long way to go. The missile pods are pretty close to where I want to be. These vents on the front and back, or on the top and back, I've done one layer of wash to darken those vents up. Then I need to come back and do all of the oil weathering on these guys. There's been no oil weathering on these yet, other than to darken the missiles, right? I've done the chipping, the missile pods, I've gotten the shading on the inside done. So now it's just really a matter of darkening all this stuff up, getting this in where it belongs, how it should sit, and then because it's looking at an angle now, so I need to pay attention because I'm just sort of sticking it. There we go. So get all this in, and then finish the shading there, and that's what you have to do. So yeah, this is just sort of an update on where we are and what the next steps are. Still not sure I'm content with the legs, and I'm sort of still chewing on where to take that, whether it's more or less or some addition, but I think it's pretty close to where I want to go. So with that said, I am going to close out for now. I will come back when I've pretty much got the hip and the basically when we're ready to start putting the thing together. So I hope this is at least entertaining for folks, and until next time, happy modeling.
Reactor online. Sensors online.